All right, so I'm a senior right now in college. We have graduation in about a week, so I will be walking up to get my diploma. Here is my graduation hat, and here is my graduation hat turned on. So a quick overview of what's going on here is we got a couple different folders. So the first one that it's on right now is kind of like Disney and cartoons, animation, stuff like that. So you can see we got a couple pictures, a couple animations on here. And this will just basically cycle through every couple seconds. And then there's also another folder which is just kind of more general messages. We got pictures like that. And I can kind of shuffle through them on the back, or I can just let them cycle and it'll play every couple seconds. All right, so the way this works is it's running on a Raspberry Pi Pico 2. It got an RP2350 dual-core microcontroller and an onboard wireless chip. So that just allows it to run a little bit faster, a little smoother, and handle more images overall. Runs at about 300 frames per second, so the lights, you can see there's no flickering. It just lets it show up on cameras better, and obviously at a graduation I want camera display to be pretty optimized. And it's gonna have to run off some sort of battery or power, so it's a 5.5 volt battery, so I can run this through like a USB, but for now we're gonna use a phone battery. It's about 10,000 milliamps. So at full brightness with this display, it'll last for just over 8 hours. All right, so behind the scenes, what do we got going on? There's really not that much. It's just about 100 lines of Python, written in MicroPython, of course, through Thonny. It's connected into the Raspberry Pi and just kind of sent over to the board. There's three main buttons, functions on it. The first one opens up folder 1. The second button opens up folder 2. And then the third one kind of combines both and just plays the shuffle of everything uploaded to it. By default, the images switch every 5 seconds, but if they're paused, which is the fourth function, I can go forward, backwards, and then this way it just lets me keep it on a specific image. If for whatever reason there's one I really like, I can just keep it on there for longer. And then on top of just static images, if I click play, it'll go to the next one. We could also run a couple animations, which are just made up of course, image frames. And the way this works is if I put a FPS and then a number before the file name, when it gets to it, or I could also put it after, just anywhere in the name, it'll just play them at that speed, overriding the original time, which is about 3 to 5 seconds right now. So I did make all of the images by scratch just to make sure they fit the 32 by 32 dimensions as well as the size constraints. So I can't really share those images because some of them do contain copyright logos such as the GitHub, but the rest of the code is going to be available on GitHub and the project files will be available for download if you're interested in learning more. And then some of the images, of course, I will be able to share, so anything that I will be able to upload, I'll include for anybody who's interested, but obviously you're going to want to have your own images. So code's here, you can just drag them into the images, add it to the board, and it's pretty much done. There's also a couple other features. So I added a internet feature so you can connect it to your phone if you'd like, and you can upload images wirelessly. It does take up a bit more storage, so that kind of prevents the images from being stored locally onto the hat, and you're going to have a phone handy. So I'm not going to use this approach for graduation just because I don't want anything to go wrong. This is a little bit safer. And there's also internet-based games. I made a Tetris and a Snake game that can be played on the hat wirelessly with the phone as a controller too. I might try to set that one up, but either way, they'll all be on the GitHub. Feel free to take a look around. And yeah, that's about most of it. I'll include a couple pictures of what it looks like being worn, but for the most part, it's just a normal hat with the lights on it. So yeah, that's about the whole project.